Because beyond the fact that Lamin is the best player in the world, which I think everyone knows, right? Everyone knows that Lamin is the best player in the world, I think. But the father can't go out saying that this is a moral harm to the human being. But how is there no one close to Lamin or close to Barça? I don't want to criticize Barça since I think they have little to do with this. But I think this should start being taken care of a bit. I mean, a lot of things have already happened up to this point, in which Lamin's father, well, says things, says what he thinks, without any kind of filter, without anything. But for him to appear on El Chiringuito, first on El Chiringuito, but for him to come out saying that, if his son at 18 doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, it's a moral harm to humanity. I think this needs to be stopped. I mean, this needs to be stopped. Because the first person affected is Lamin Jamal. He's the player we don't want to be affected. And nobody wants that. I think nobody wants Lamin to be affected by this. Then he said more things too. He said that, well, it's not that it's a robbery, but everyone has seen it. Lamin is the world's best player. Of course, we've all seen it, but you can't just go out and say whatever you want, okay? And I feel really bad for Lamin. I'm sure that Lamin, who won both the Copa Award for Best Under 21 and the Silver Ball, will succeed. I mean, I think achieving all this at 18 years old, if you're not happy, you have a problem? You have a problem. And I think even us Barça fans don't really share this feeling that Lamin's father has. I don't think we share it. I don't think so, because we know very well that a player who carries the Spanish national team on his shoulders and who carries Football Club Barcelona on his shoulders and who carries on his shoulders the expectation of being the best in the world in a few years. For me, he already is, you know? For me, he already is. He will surely bring us a lot of joy. And if it comes from his father's mouth, from his father, you know, does that mean this is moral damage? Well, we find ourselves in that situation. Or do we run into the problem that we're already telling the kid at 18 that if he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or at 18, is this a failure? And we are. We are seriously harming the player, really very seriously, because physical harm is physical harm, but the psychological damage that can be done to a player at that age, let me tell you something, okay? Thank God. That MIM is the way she is. The MIM does her own thing. She goes at her own pace. She does her own thing. She doesn't have anything to do with anyone else, right? And besides, it seems that up until now, at least until today, it hasn't affected her. It doesn't affect her, it seems, what's happening around her. He focuses on playing soccer. And while he's focused on playing soccer, I think both the coolers and those who aren't coolers enjoy him, right? And do they enjoy him? I think Lamin needs to be guided a bit more. By her family, with all due respect. That's important, okay? I don't know, Lamine, I don't know her father, I don't know anyone, but I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that the ones Lamine is interested in. At her age, and even if she's 40 years old, that's what her mother's family offers her. Why? Her father? Really? Huh? I'll say it again, I don't want any bad vibes with anyone. I don't know anyone, and that's not what I want. But what his father says, whenever I grab a mic, will it hurt him more than help him? I think MIM himself knows it, you know? I mean, I don't. No? I mean, I don't believe that MIM doesn't already know what's going on. I don't believe that MIM hasn't already been advised. They've already told her. The question is, what will MIM do? MIM will probably say, it's my father, what should I do? What do I do? Thank God she's got a good head on her shoulders, even though she's only 18. But these are things that I don't know what to say. This too. He's the best in the world. There are no rivals. Of course, these are things everyone knows, but that's the humility we want the kid to have. If his father says these things, he's clearly the best, not just because he's my son. A father always wants the best for his son, right? A father always... He always wants the best, no doubt. What makes Raul special is his natural instincts and feelings, which is beautiful. I'm not saying it's not beautiful. But if what you want is to do your son a favor, try to be less the center of attention. That's my opinion. I say it to you with all due respect, okay? I mean, I don't say it to her directly because she won't even listen to me, right? But with all due respect, and considering everything we've been through, in the end, comparing with Messi, who I still think is unmatched, is absurd, right? But when you compare with Messi and see where Messi has reached, and you see why Messi has gotten to where he is, you realize that the very first step, the one at the bottom, is humility. If there's no humility, my friend, the ladder wobbles, falls, and breaks apart. If you don't have the first step carved with the word humility, forgive me, but you won't get anywhere. What you will get to is what Vinicius has reached: zero humility. A lot of ego, booed in every stadium, hated by everyone. A player who doesn't keep quiet, who plays while looking at the stands, who... But if what you want is for your son to be like Vinicius, go ahead. Go ahead, because you're on the right track. You're on the right track, Muir. If what you want is for your son to have a lot of money, and that after winning a silver ball, he stops playing soccer, like what happened to Neymar. If that's your goal, you're on the right track. If you want your son to reign, listen to what I'm telling you, okay, reign in soccer for 20 years. Step aside, back, or wherever you like. But stop. With all due respect, excuse my language, stop bothering Ming, because I know that even though I suppose it's not your intention, you're making things worse for her instead of helping. A lot, by far. My son is the best in the world. But there's a lot more that has been said here. Something strange has happened here. About the Ballon d'Or, those are things he shouldn't say. Next year, the Ballon d'Or will be Spanish. What? What's the need to say that to your son? No, not this year, but next year, yes or no? Is there any need to put that kind of absurd pressure on your son? When he just won the award for best player, the under 21 in the world, and when he just became the second best player in the world, there's no need. And I agree with a lot of people who are going to say to me, Isra, but what about... Ignore him. Ignore Munir. Yes, you're right. I mean, for many reasons we have to ignore him. But the problem is that the problem is that Munir is Lamin's father. He's his dad. And since he's his dad, well, Lamin has to go out of his way for him too, right? And he can't leave him aside. So my message today is the following, Lamin. Distance yourself a bit from all this. Be careful with your surroundings, because sometimes the environment is worse than the harm that a journalist can do to you, or the harm that anyone within football can do to you. So that's my message for Lamine Yamal. I'll say it again. For me, congratulations, Lamin, for the season you've had. For being the second best player in the world at 18 years old, for winning the Copa Trophy, which recognizes you as the best under 21 player in the world. And stay away from the environment, because it can drag you down, okay? I mean, it can hurt you more than it can help you. That's my message.